Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we will be discussing the relationship between Moon in 8th house, specifically somehow related to Aquarius Rashi, to Kumbha, and having some kind of love for mountains. So we have 4 charts to discuss. We are starting with the chart of James Hilton, who was also the novelist, and that was my inspiration for all this article, because I have seen that in his chart he has this Lagna Lord, Ascendant Lord and Moon in the 8th house, which makes a person a kind of introvert and interested in transformation and freedom. And then when I saw his chart, I saw the big resemblance to another mountaineer, professional person, who unfortunately died also in the mountains, Karl Unterkircher. And in his chart, also the same thing, Cancer, Lagna, Moon in the 8th house. So I thought, let me investigate that further. And then in my database, I have just collected all the charts of people who are into the mountains. And I have seen that nearly all of them have Moon in the 8th house. So I thought that I will write an article about it. So if you like the video, please don't forget to click the thumbs up, click that subscribe button if you like to be notified about every video which is coming up. Also, I see that now 41% of people who are watching my channel are not subscribed, so it would be nice to click that red button. And also, if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, then please write down below in the comments. Let's see if we can do a 90 likes in this video. So as you can see, I'm with different setting now. I'm in different place. I'm in Munich, Germany, and recording for you this video. So let's dive right into it. In that first chart, this is the chart of James Hilton. In here we have the Cancer Lagna. Lagna is an ascendant, the first house, which shows the personality of the person. And Vedic astrology is very important to see also the Lagna Lord, because it shows the first impulse and basically how your intelligence is working, how you are making the choices. If your Lagna Lord is badly placed, then you are prone to commit poor choices in life, and that needs remedy. In his life, he has Lagna Lord in 8th house, and this is also the part of something which is called Raja Banga Yoga. When the Lagna Lord is in Dushtana, then basically the person may give up. So this also can give that tendency of escapism, because the 5th house from the 8th will be the 12th house, which is the house of freedom, of liberation, and so on. So these people may like to be free, and therefore they may resign from some kind of materialistic life. Especially if that moon will have some connection to the Saturn, then we could say that it is more like Pravaraja Yoga or austerity. And here we have a Saturn in the 6th, so it has that connection to the 8th house, because Saturn always aspects the 3rd house from his position. So Saturn in the 6th will aspect the 8th house, where is the Ascendant Lord, the Moon here in this case. So also in the Navamsha is a special chart of fortune. Mercury and Venus is in the 10th house. This is very important because it shows the source of wealth. So whatever we do, it has to have some connection to the 10th house in Navamsha to be sustainable and a big source of fortune. So in this way we can also advise what to do in life. So in this case, we see here that he is a novelist, because that Mercury and Venus may bring some form of art, and also the Moon in the 5th house, so the Venus, Jupiter, Moon in Trikona also gives an author. So in this case, we have this person who is more into art. Also, if we see in his Rasi chart, we have here Venus in the Lagna, which is also the 4th Lord. So 4th Lord in Lagna is like a Moon in Lagna, because the natural significator for the 4th house is the Moon. So it's like a Moon and Venus. Also, this yoga is also very good for poetry, especially for writing, but especially in form of stories, because Moon loves stories. Moon loves also history. So Moon is all about that. So definitely there is a big talent, source of wealth and fortune related to that. Also, the 10th Lord Mars is in the 12th. So from the 10th house, these are 3 houses, 10, 11, 12. So 3 is also related to writing, and this is related to a Gemini Rashi, because Gemini is loaded by Mercury. Mercury is also about writing, and that Mars is in the same sign in Rasi Navamsha, which is Varga. So this is showing writer, this is showing poet, person who is earning from some form of art. But what is important when it comes to his likings and his character, then the ascendant, the Lagna Lord, is very important. And here we have that Moon in the 8th house, aspected by Saturn. So there is this introvert austerity blend in the chart. That was the person born on 9th September, so it was 2 days back. I was just seeing the charts of people born on that day. This brings me to the chart of a very similar person, Karl Unterkircher, and he was very much into mountains, like totally into, and he also unfortunately died there in the Dasha, in the planetary period, because Dasha is the planetary period of Saturn, so when it was the fatal Dasha for him. And we see that the Arudha Lagna here falls in the 3rd house, and because the Lagna Lord, Ascendant Lord, is in the 2nd, so based on the principle of reflection, when the Lagna Lord is in the 2nd, Arudha jumps to the 3rd house. So we have Arudha Lagna in the 3rd house, and that Saturn would be in 8th house. So the 8th from Arudha is the point of demise before time. And here we have that Saturn, right? And the Saturn in the Navamsha is in 12th house, which is also related to demise. And this is in Sagittarius, the house of mountains. So there is a very strong connection there. There also we have Jupiter and Rahu, which is normally the yoga for murder, but the Saturn is Lagna Lord in the 12th. So that means that his own actions were leading to such fatal event in his life. So that is there. But to the point, what is important, Lagna Lord, Ascendant Lord, again, Moon in the 8th house with Rahu, with the 8th Lord also. So this makes also much stronger the combination. And here we have the Mercury is in 7th from the Moon, which could make the person very creative. If the Mercury and Venus are in Kendra, especially 7, make the person very creative, like an artist from the Moon. And here in the Navamsha we have also Venus in the 5th house, which makes person very romantic, activist, and very passionate about whatever he does. This is how Venus is blessed the person. This is the other guru planet, other teacher planet in the chart. So that is there here in the Navamsha. And but yes, the yoga is there. It is making person austere. It is making person trying to give up life, give up material life, and going for mountains, going for, especially because it's Aquarius. And 5th from house from Lagna Lord, which is showing what you love, what you adore, what you really, really like, is the 12th house of liberation. So this 12th house has this mukti thing. I want to be liberated, I want to go for meditation, and Pisces also the sign, which is natural 12th sign. This is the last sign of the zodiac. It's loaded by Ketu, and Ketu also is very much about this liberation aspect of the person, mukti as they say. I want to be liberated from this life. I don't want to work. I don't want to be imbibed in all these structures, in all these payments, debts, and the dynamics of the social life. I just want to be free, and that love to freedom, I think, is very much accentuated with that position of Lagna Lord and the Moon in the 8th house. Here we also see that the structure of this body is loaded by Mercury, and Mercury is with 2 malefics, Sun and Ketu, and the Sun is also Varesha, the Lord of the day. Person was born on Sunday. Sunday is, as from the name we can see, Sun, day, right? So the Sun is loading Sunday, so the Sun will control your health in the chart, also your appearance, your body, and the Sun is involved in that Mercury with 2 malefics, which is really problematic for the structure of the body. So this is a dangerous combination here, right? This is also in 12 from the Arudha Lagna, which is showing the loss, right? And the dispositor of that Lagna Lord, which is also the 2nd point, which is very important for health. So for health, you need to check dispositor of Lagna Lord and also the Varesha, the day on which the person was born. These 2 points are very important for the analysis of health. So the dispositor of the Moon, which is the Lagna Lord, Ascendant Lord, is Vahana, is like carrying you. Where are you going? This is the Pakesha. It's called, the scientific term is Pakesha. And this Pakesha is debilitated Saturn in the 12th house in the Navamsha, right? So his body is like meant to go away and in very weak state. And when that Saturn came, exactly in the Saturn period, the demise was happening. How Vedic astrology is so precise, so clear, is really astounding. If you would like to have your chart interpreted, your yogas in the chart, what they really mean and when they will be activated using various dashas, how to analyze your Navamsha, your Vargas, what it means, and if you have such yogas in the chart, if you are also interested in that or any other type of yogas, then please just click that link which should appear here This will link you to a page when you could schedule such analysis. Let's go to our next chart now, which is of Herzog. So this is also very interesting because this is a politician. He was a French politician and he also led the expedition. This was the first mountain expedition for a mountain which was more than 8,000. This was Annapurna mountain. In jyotish, in astrology, Annapurna yoga is the Venus and Moon combination. This was the 10, Annapurna is the 10 mountains in the world when it comes to the height. And he wrote best-selling book which sold 12 million copies. In that journey he lost almost all his fingers, so that was a big dedication, big sacrifice. So this is the chart of Maurice Herzog, and here in this chart, Scorpio Lagna, Scorpio ascendant, Moon again in 8. And what is the connection to Aquarius? Moon is in Aquarius Navamsha, so the connection is there, and again with the Jupiter. Now when Moon and Jupiter are together in the Navamsha, it can give very illustrious author, so very good, especially 10th house in Navamsha, Mercury, very strong. So that is there. And Mercury is also with that Ketu, with the planet about liberation, so that can also mean the topic of writing, right? If there would be Rahu or Mars or Venus, this could be more about some mystery for Rahu, Venus for love, Mars could be some technical writing. So here we have that Mercury and Ketu. Yoga Mercury and Ketu is not very good for education. That would be in Rashi, somehow connected to the 4th house. You can have broken education, so it's not good for your wealth. It's connected to the Varesha or Pakesha, then that could be bad for wealth. But in the Navamsha, it may somehow color your topic of writing or your general theme of your work. So here we have that Moon, and the 10th lord from Moon is that Jupiter, and Jupiter is also in that Aquarius with that Moon. So that Jupiter is in that writing book yoga in the Navamsha, in the Aquarius sign. So this is also showing the topic about the mountains. Okay, the next chart is about the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she was a psychiatrist, and she had very strong connection to death. It's said on Wikipedia that she was associated with 20,000 death of people, right? So she is like a person who is giving knowledge and also that emotion, that care, that shelter for such big numbers of people. And we can see in her chart that Sun and Rahu are together, and as you know, the Rahu and Ketu, this is the doors which are transcending the material life, as they say. So when the yoga Sun Rahu is there, this is the Patanjali yoga, this is making a person, can make person quite spiritual when Jupiter is well placed, and Jupiter is in the Lagna. So that means that there is some kind of transformation happening in the life, because that yoga is there, Sun and Rahu, but Jupiter is in Lagna, which means that you are personified knowledge about that transformation. So she has that needed knowledge for transformation, and we can read on Wikipedia or that she was developing also that whole theory about demise. For example, she said that there are, I think, 5 stages of dying, and how it's all started. She had that pneumonia when she was 5 years old, and her roommate died, and that opened her to all that topic of demise or death and all that. And that Sun and Rahu, this transcending yoga, is on her Arudha Lagna, so she is known from that, but Jupiter is in Lagna, so she is basically transforming. She's bringing that transformation. This Jupiter is very important because she has also Malavya yoga, Venus is in Kendra and strong in own sign Taurus. Now, for being a psychiatrist, we need a Moon connection to 1st and 2nd from Arudha Lagna. This is there, Moon is with the Arudha Lagna and loading 2nd from Arudha Lagna, and we need connection of Moon Mercury for that Bishak yoga, being a doctor, and Moon is in the sign of Mercury, perfectly fine. I was really looking for Yama yoga because that Mars Saturn is specifically for death, and here we have that 6th house in the Dashamsa, have Sun and Rahu, and there is this Mars and Saturn yoga also in the Dashamsa in her chart of work, and there is connection to 6th lord, which shows that this is a type of work. So we could say that in the Rashi, Mars is in the 10th from the Moon and it's in the sign of Saturn. So we have also that Mars-Saturn connection related to 10th from Moon, which is her work. Now this is the last chart of Robert Bates, and he is also a professional mountaineer. And here we have many spiritual yogas in this chart, and also of course we have the Moon in the 8th house. So we have Moon in the 8th, and Moon here is with the Ketu and Venus in the Navamsha chart. So that Ketu Venus, this is Tapasvi combination, and this is important because it's in 5th from the Navamsha Lagna. So 5th from Navamsha Lagna is your ability, also your personality, what you really like, and that's there. So we can say that he is a person who can do a huge thing in life. He can really austere, he can really work hard also. And this Ketu Venus Saturn yoga can also be in people like vegans, people who are leading some kind of austere life, who like fasting, having very extreme diets also, or trying them. So this Ketu Venus Saturn also is kind of yoga for austere life, renunciation. And in the chart of Robert Bates, we have the Mars in Lagna and own sign. This is Ruchaka yoga, also present many times for spiritual people. So when Mars is in Kendra, 1st, 4, 7, 10, and it's very strong, which means here own sign or exalted. So Mars is in own sign in Aries and Scorpio, and exalted in Capricorn, which such situation is there, we call it Ruchaka yoga, and this makes person into mantra, tantra, yantra. Person is very spiritual and can see the future, can have some vision. Especially this type of spirituality, we could say the fiery or Agni type of spirituality, like astrology, because astrology has a lot to do with the sight. So here we have also a Grahamalika yoga, so planet by planet. Grahamalika yoga, Graha means planets, Malika means like a garland of flowers, so the planets are house by house, and the starting point is very important. Here we have Jupiter and Ketu in the 12th house. So that Jupiter and Ketu is the Parampara yoga. This shows that person is somehow member of some old lineage, teacher, student lineage, or any type of other type of lineages. And here this is a 12th house, also related to freedom. So it's very, very important. We also know from his biography that he was teaching English. Here we have 10th from Moon, is Jupiter perfectly fine, and that Mercury is the 6th lord in the Dashamsa, so he's working with words, with language. So that Jupiter Ketu also is bringing that jobs into the line of consulting, teaching, being some kind of tutor or expert, advisor. So that's also nicely explained his situation, where he could always go to get income. So that Jupiter will be waiting there for him. And in 12th house, which means abroad, so all these travels, all this mountaineering was also abroad, right? So this Ketu in 12th, it's also Mukti. So here we have Ketu in the sign of Venus. This is very Jupiter Ketu in the sign of Venus in 12th house, very kind of Mukti type of work, Mukti work, because it's 10th from Moon. So this is now influencing his career life. Alright guys, so that will be it for me. If you like the video, please click the thumbs up, share this video with your friends, comment below if you have any suggestion or questions related to my analysis. And if you like to be notified about similar videos in the future, please subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next one.